Welcome to the XL Sports Network Drive at 5, brought to you by the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville. We're coming to you live from the David Venable Studios in downtown Hawkinsville. I'm here without my two partners today. One's under the weather, Will's not feeling too well. And my daughter, his wife, my daughter is also not feeling too well, so he's trying to get over his sickness and take care of my daughter. So I gave him the night off. And then my son, Chaz, who's normally here with us, well, he's normally on uh, on the phone with us from Tallahassee. He's having a career transition. Just graduated from Florida State University and starting his new position next week. So he's getting ready for that. So he has some things to take care of today, and he couldn't be here with us today. So I'm gonna do the show by myself, and just want to let you guys know that you can you can watch us on the YouTube channel XL Sports Network. Click the subscribe, hit the like button, make a comment. You can also listen to us live on the xlsportsnetwork.net and hit the hit the listen live on anywhere in there. You can also listen to us on Friday nights when we bring to you the Hawkinsville Red Devils. Tomorrow we'll be playing in Baxley, Georgia, on the road for the first week of the playoffs. Hopefully this playoff run will go deep. So listen to the Red Devils play-by-play brought to you by the Steakhouse restaurant in Hawkinsville, and Bruce Mims does a great job doing play-by-play, and you can hear us both on there tomorrow. And then Saturday morning we have the Steakhouse restaurant uh, Saturday morning quarterback show. We'll be interviewing 16 coaches throughout the state. I'm sure there'll be some excited coaches to win some ball games for playoffs, and we can't wait to do that. I don't have a list of the coaches that we'll be interviewing. If Bruce comes in during the show, I'll see if he has a list of those, and I'll give them to you. But right now we're going to start off with a Week 10 review and talk about the game between the hedges with Georgia beating Missouri. Uh, Again, it's kind of tough not having my partner here to bounce things off us, so we're gonna try to do this by myself. But one thing that I'd like to point out is Luther Burton is probably the best receiver in the country. Man, he was a Georgia target. They tried to get him to Georgia, and I think it came down between Georgia and Missouri, and he chose Missouri. Unfortunately for Georgia, he chose Missouri. But he has been probably, if not the best, definitely one of the best um, wide receivers in the nation. And Kamari Lassiter, they put him in the slot position, took him off corner, put him in the slot, basically the star position, position he has not played in his career. But Kamari Lassiter is an amazing athlete, one of the best defensive backs in the country, and pretty much shut him down. Burton had 3 receptions for 53 yards. One of those receptions were a 39-yard touchdown, and that was against a different defensive back. Dylan Everett was the defensive back on that play. And so you take that away, and the only receptions he had against Kamari Lassiter was 2 receptions for 14 yards. So Kamari definitely just shut him down right there. Georgia came out on top of that game. Great, exciting game to watch. Nazir Stackhouse got a big interception for the defense there towards the end of the game, and then my man Devon Bullard, who's out of the 4.78 out of Baldwin High School in Millersville, came up with an interception toward the end of the game to seal it off for Georgia, and Georgia walked away with a 9-point victory over the Missouri Tigers. And I'm gonna tell you, those guys are for real. Missouri's for real. Ken's on the board here with us, and I'm gonna talk to Ken a little bit about that. Ken, I'm sure you got to see some of that game. Missouri looked really good. I'm telling you, they got a great running back. I think Brady Cook is a really good quarterback. Eli Drinkowitz, you may not like his antics on the sidelines, but I'm gonna tell you, he did a great job getting those guys prepared. Um, Good team. I didn't overlook those guys. I think a lot of fans may have, just because you think of Missouri, you don't really think of, you know, high caliber football. But I'm gonna tell you guys, if you go back and look in the pre-SEC days, Missouri was a pretty good football team back in those days, and they showed Saturday where they are a formidable opponent. And I expect them to go into this weekend and beat Tennessee, and hopefully Georgia will have that SEC East crown before they take the field on Saturday evening between the edges. Ken, were you going to say something about that game?
Well, I did get to watch that game, and Missouri has been a really good team all year, and I didn't expect anything less than what they brought. However, during the game, and I am a Georgia fan, one of the biggest around probably. Well, maybe not bigger than you, but at least as big.
So,
But I never felt during the game that Georgia had anything to fear.
no, I didn't either.
Unlike last year. Last year when we played Missouri, at the end I was like, oh my God, are we going to lose this? But I never felt that this year.
You know what? I was a little bit more nervous this year than last year. Even in the fourth quarter, I was like, man, I think they're a better football team this year than they were last year. Even when they had a, double-digit lead in the fourth quarter last year, I was not really. I just wasn't. And on the road too, I just didn't think we're going to lose that football game. I really felt confident about it. And again, this weekend too, this past weekend, I never really thought that Georgia's going to lose that game. I never really feared that. I was a little bit nervous. I will say that. Um, Especially when Georgia, was up by 6, and they um, and Missouri had the ball with just about 6 minutes left to go in the game and had the ball, and I'm like, oh man, if they come down the field here, then that's going to put some pressure on Georgia, and luckily for Georgia, New Stackhouse stepped in front of Brady Cook's little. I guess they were trying to set up a screen pass or something, but
Yeah, I heard my wife was telling me that there was a lot of people making fun of Stackhouse because he was running the ball. He didn't make it into the end zone. Well, geez, I mean, he caught the ball and he ran it just as good as anybody else.
When you're 325 pounds, getting 40 yards down the field and trying to outrace everybody is not the easiest thing in the world
Yeah,
to do.
Stackhouse said that's a lot of weight on his knees.
That's right. That's right. Moving along, I'm just going to highlight some of the games over the weekend. Man, Florida losing as a Georgia fan, we're Gator haters first and foremost. And, Georgia losing to Arkansas thrilled me. I was, I like Sam Pittman. Sam Pittman loves Georgia. He loves Kirby Smart. Sam did a great job as a coach at Georgia, and once they finally get rid of him, hopefully he'll come back to Georgia as an assistant. I think he's a heck of a guy, great coach. Good man, and Florida losing to Arkansas was a thrill to me. Uh, Oklahoma losing to the Little Brothers, the final Bedlam game. Thought that was pretty funny. That kind of throws the Big 12 in a tailspin. You've got only Texas left. Texas is the only team in the Big 12 really that's got a chance to make the playoff, and I think they will. I think they'll win out.
Yeah, I think they probably will too. Who do you think they're going to play in the
I think they'll play Oklahoma State. It's funny because Oklahoma State, there's a lot of people out there before the season, and we probably talked about it. If you go back and listen to some of the shows from earlier on before the season, I think even I may have mentioned it that a lot of people were picking Oklahoma State to play for the title this year, and then they started off pretty bad, and it was like, man, why didn't anybody even pick these guys? But here they are now. They're in the driver's seat to make the championship game. So still a lot of football left to be played. I think we got 3 games left in the season, so we'll see. Texas did come out ahead. They jumped out to big lead on Kansas State. And we had 4 games going on my back porch Saturday, and that was one of them we had going on. And after they were up like 27-3 or something like that, I can't remember what the exact score was, but they were up by like 3 touchdowns. I kind of turned my attention away from that, was watching the other games, and then Will made a comment, up, look here, man, we're tied up. I'm like, what? And so yeah, they Kansas State came back, but Kansas State's the defending Big 12 champion. You don't expect anything less from them. One kid that I really miss at Georgia, A.D. Mitchell, he is a top-notch player. He had 8 receptions for 149 yards and a touchdown. If Dick Vitale was doing college football, he would say he's a BTB, a prime or PTB, a prime time player, and he really is a big time football player. He comes out when it's really needed. I wish that he hadn't left Georgia, but I understand he's got a child in Texas. He needs to be closer to his kid, and hats off to him. But I think that A.D. Mitchell will be, he'll be down in Georgia history as being one of the best, one of the most favorite players to play for Georgia. So congratulations to him. He's a great player. Hopefully he'll go high in the draft next year. Moving along, some of the games that were on the schedule this past week. Ole Miss, who we'll see Saturday. Ole Miss and Texas A&M. Listen, Texas A&M has lost 9 straight road games. You're paying a guy $75 million to lose 9 straight road games.
How many more years are they going to keep him? This is
You know,
Gus Malzahn moment, right?
I don't know, but it's funny that you asked that question because I was just listening to the podcast on the way in, and they were talking about that. What do you do? I mean, do you get rid of him now and you bring somebody in that that's unknown, unproven? No, you don't do that. Um, I don't know, man. I think they're gonna leave him there. I think he's gonna survive at least one more season. I do think this weekend I'll get to this weekend's pick, but I think this weekend's gonna help him out. I think the big bowl will come up this week.
I think I think they'll find another coach before they decide to let him go.
Yeah. Well, of course they'll do that. That's just part for the course. You don't let your coach go unless you got somebody lined up, somebody that that the boosters are going to improve. They probably even, just like when Auburn, got rid of, well, that guy. I mean, he's going to be gone no matter what. But one thing is, Texas A&M, right at the end of the game, they missed a field goal to tie the game. So, 38-35 was the final score of that game. Ole Miss gave up 35 to Texas A&M, so we'll see what happens this week when they play Georgia. We'll get into the preview of that in just a few minutes. Big upset of the weekend, and I say it's an upset, but I really don't think it's an upset. Clemson beat Notre Dame. Sam Hartman, he was not very good. Sam Hartman was on a lot of people's Heisman watch list.
Yes, and go back earlier in the year, I thought he might be a Heisman contender as well. But this last game just showed that everybody has an off day, but that was really terrible.
I've not been impressed with him this year, really. I mean, I thought he was good when he was, at Wake Forest, but I just haven't been that impressed with him this year. He was 13 for 30. That's less than 50%. 146 yards, two interceptions, no touchdowns. He's a pretty boy. I guess the ladies like looking at him, but I don't think he's that good right now.
My wife doesn't like looking at him. She said he needs to shave.
That's funny. All right, we'll get to one more before we take a commercial break. And it's NC State over Miami. That's the pick we had this weekend. If you guys go back and listen to the end of the Saturday morning quarterback show, when we do the drive with John or traveling with John, I actually picked NC State. I picked Miami, but Miami did not score one single touchdown. They kicked 2 field goals. Tyler Van Dyke, who's probably one of the best quarterbacks coming out this year, threw 3 interceptions. It's just, man, it's terrible. And I don't know, but it just seems like the end of that Georgia Tech game when Cristobal just pretty much gift wrap an early Christmas present to Georgia Tech. I mean, listen, there was less than 30 seconds left to go in the game, and Tech had 0 timeouts, and all he had to do was just snap the ball and fall down and wins the game. But instead, he tries to rush the ball, they fumble it. The rest is history. Tech gets it, scores a touchdown, wins the game.
Haven't done that before. He should have known better.
Yeah, he's the second time it's happened to him. He should have known better than that. But anyway, so I think that could have ruined his season, or ruined their season. I don't know. I don't know if the kids are still bought into him or not. But you're listening to the XL Sports Network Drive at 5, brought to you by the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville. We're going to take a quick break, a 2-minute break, and back on the other side, we'll have some more Week 10 reviews for you, and then we'll get down to the next week's games and talk about that. You're listening to the XL Sports Network, brought to you by the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the XL Sports Network Drive at 5. Got a visitor in the studio. My man Bruce Mills in here, my partner on Friday nights and Saturday mornings. Bruce, glad you stopped by. Say hey to us.
Hello.
Hey. So this is again the XL Sports Network Drive at 5, brought to you by the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville. We'll come to you live from the David Venable Studios in downtown Hawkinsville. You can YouTube us, XL Sports Network on YouTube, and click the subscribe, hit the like, make a comment. We'd love for you to comment, so you can make good, bad, indifferent, whatever. Give us some feedback. Also, listen to us live online at xlsportsnetwork.net. Listen to the Hawkinsville Red Devils. We're going to be coming to you live tomorrow night. Kickoff at 7:30 in Baxley, Georgia, where the Hawkinsville Red Devils. Blakely. I'm sorry. I said Baxley last time too. Blakely.
Yeah.
Blakely, Georgia. Yeah. We'll be taking on Early County in the first round of the GHSA state playoffs.
If we go to Baxley, there won't be anything for us to do.
Yeah, I know, right? uh, anyway, we're excited about that. Hopefully, Hawkinsville will play good tomorrow night, and we'll play again next week. But got to take care of this one first. You can also listen to us on Saturday morning at the Steakhouse Restaurant. Uh, Saturday morning quarterback show. Interview 16 coaches. Bruce, do you have the you got the list of coaches that we'll be talking to? We'll go through that list in a minute. We talked to 16 coaches throughout the state of Georgia, high school coaches, and we're going to try to do something similar to that in the college ranks around Georgia. Some of the uh, college, local college teams, and maybe get some players, some personnel, recruiters, or coaches, or somebody. We're going to try to do that. Bruce, is Bruce turned up over there?
No.
No, turn it
Yeah,
up.
you turn me in. Yeah, I can give you a little bit of an idea about what the deal is. It's the XL College Report, and what we do is, unlike you guys, y'all target the Division I schools and all the big programs and what's happening across the country. What we will target on is the schools within the state of Georgia. We'll talk to like Fort Valley State, Albany State, Savannah State, Georgia Southern, Kennesaw State, Georgia State, um, that and GMC and those schools. And there's a couple others, but that's what we want to target. Is target those guys. Everybody knows everything is about these other guys, but what we want to do is get the perspective of it can be the AD, it can be the play-by-play guy, it can be sports information director, but get a report on a regular basis throughout the course of the season to let people know what's going on with them. And maybe drum up a little bit of interest what people want in the mid-state. Maybe turn out and go watch more of these games.
Right, right.
But it was an approach that I put together myself just a few years ago, and it worked. It worked great until the guys decided they wanted to do something totally different.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I said, well, it's my way or the highway. So,
And they
so
chose,
they chose the highway basically. Yeah. So,
I hear you.
because this would draw a lot of interest to the local folks because with how we reach them with the stream, we will be able to touch mom and dads all across the country or those across the state of Georgia. So
Right.
this will be a neat way of doing it.
Right, right. I'm excited about that. We're going to work on that. Bruce and I have already talked about that. We'll work on that during the off season and try to get that up, and we'll figure out something. Bruce just gave me the list of the coaches that we'll be talking to. Coach Tim Suttles will be talking to Saturday morning. He's the Hawkinsville head coach, and then Frank Killingsworth, the Early County coach. We're talking to him. We'll try to get the Tipped area coach on the phone, along with Fullington. My man Dexter Copeland from Macon County. Dex and I go way back. We grew up playing ball together in Little League and rec ball, baseball, football, and we played against each other in high school. Great man. Ron Duncan from Screamer County. We'll be talking to him. Talking to the Pepperell coach, Claxton coach, Greg Hill. We're familiar with him. Hope we talk to Marquise Westbrook. What a great man he is. Even though he's a Gator, I don't hold that against him. But Marquise is a great man, and he's the Peach County coach. Talking to the Bremen coach, Gordon Lee coach, Jeremy Edwards, the Hoko. Talking to him. Let's see who else we got here. East Coweta. We're talking East Coweta coach John Small and Ben Bailey on the north side. Parkview's coach John Servant. I'm sorry, Joe Servant, and Mountain View coach John Quinevit. And then we'll go into the college last half hour with John Nelson, and we'll talk college football, just like we're talking about right now. So we're going to jump back into this. So interesting fact here. I wish that Will was here because Will will get a kick out of this. Iowa beat Northwestern 10-7. Iowa is one of those teams that is offense challenged. I'll just say that offensively challenged. It's bad when the head coach, he fires his son, who's the offense coordinator. So, but here's a fun fact here. They played that game. Iowa went to Northwestern, where they went to Chicago, and they played at Wrigley Field. And the total points in that game was 17. And here's the funny thing: the Cubs scored more. The Cubs and their opponents scored more than 17 runs in 7 different games at Wrigley Field this year. So the Cubs outscored the Northwestern and Iowa football team 7 times during the season. A baseball team outscored a football team 7 times during the season. That's pretty funny. Iowa is offensively challenged, but darn, they got a great defense. Michigan still has not had a first and goal on them all year. They are absolutely crushing on both sides of the football, even though they got I guess a saga going on there. I don't know what you call it. The Spygate, or what do you call it? Got going on there in Michigan. Texas, they hold on against Kansas State. We talked about that earlier. K-State first 6 possessions, and we talked about this earlier. First 6 possessions, they had 11 yards total. 11 yards total in the first 6 possessions, and then they came out after that and put up 30 points. So that's just coaches making adjustments, albeit a lot late, but closer to halftime, and they're at halftime. One interesting fact is one interesting thing that we found out, or I was looking at during my review here, I guess. Quinn Ewers, excuse me, Quinn Ewers is the quarterback, starting quarterback there. Has been out for the last 3 or 4 weeks. He's going to be back either this week or next week. So I think that's going to probably shore up that offense at Texas. They got a good offense. I think they got a good defense. I think Texas is really, they're in the driver's seat. I mean, they're absolutely, controlling their own destiny to the playoffs. So they can make the playoff if they win out.
They shouldn't have any problem with TCU this week, that's for sure.
No, they shouldn't. And I think that Texas has not played for a conference championship since, I want to say, since 2009. I have to get back and check that, but I don't think they've even played for the conference championship. Now, there were several years there where the Big 12 didn't have a conference championship, remember? But then they had it, and then they got rid of it, and they brought it back. But I think 2009 was the last year.
I think it was 2009, and then didn't they go to the BCS championship?
Yeah, I think they did.
2011, but there was no. Was
Yeah,
it?
maybe when they had no championship game. But they've not played for a championship in that long. So let's see. Hang on here. Alabama beat LSU. Alabama. Now here's the interesting thing about Alabama. Alabama's penalties. All right. So we'll talk about that. And we've talked about this before, about how team discipline is so important, especially at this level. If you go back and look at last year, the Alabama-Tennessee game and the Alabama, another game they had, a couple games last year, they had like 15 penalties one game, 17. Oh, the Texas A&M game. I think they had 17 penalties in the Texas A&M game, or 15, and they had 17 and one against Tennessee, or I can't remember if it's which one that was. But this year against Texas, they had 10 penalties. You can't commit 10 penalties and really be expected to win a football game. They had 14 against Texas A&M this year, and they almost lost that game. And against Tennessee this year, they have one penalty. Of course, they won the game. And then against LSU, they only had 6 penalties, and they came out on top of that game. So I guess, there's a lot that goes into football. I mean, football is everybody says it's won at the line of scrimmage, and I completely agree with that. But you also got to be disciplined. You got to be disciplined in a way where you're not jumping off sides, you're not holding, you're not false start, and
You're not turning over the ball.
you're not turning the ball, right. Turning the ball is one thing, but there's all different facets of the game, and penalties, man, I mean, it's huge. So Alabama, it looks like they're trying to get, Saban's trying to get that discipline back into his program. Washington beat USC. Hello, man. USC. They fired the defense coordinator. In the last 6 games, they have given up 265 points. I'll say it again. The last 6 games, USC has given up 265 points. Now, I'd like to go back and look at Georgia over the last 3 seasons. I bet you they haven't given up that much in the last 3 seasons.
Probably not half that much.
Probably not even half that. You're probably right about that. You look that up for me. Let's see. 265 points in 6 games and 0 defense. And we're going to talk about that when we talk about the preview coming up with Oregon, because I think that my boy Bo Nix is going to have a field day this weekend. Listen to this. The Washington running back Dylan Johnson. He's never in his career ever had a 100-yard rushing game. He rushed for 256 yards against USC. Go ahead, Bruce. You're up.
Well, I got some breaking news from the GHSA.
Okay, let's hear it.
Warner Robins is being put in a new region in Class 4A.
4A.
With the teams within that region: Benedictine, New Hampstead, Perry,
Wow.
Ware County, Warner Robins, and Wayne County.
That's a good region. That's a good region.
I thought you'd like
I
that.
do like
That
that.
now you talking about with Perry and Warner Robins in the same region. That's going to generate tons.
That has
of
never
interest.
happened, Bruce.
No,
We've never played. I
No.
say we because I'm a demon.
but this now over that's in Region 1. Region 2 is got Jones County in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
They petitioned and they granted the
So that means that if Jones County and Warner Robins make the playoffs, it's going to be way deep in the playoffs. Then.
yeah, it should be deep in playoffs.
Deep in the playoffs.
But I just thought that you'd find that out. And Central and Macon has moved down to Class A Division 1.
Really?
They're going to be in there with Blakely. That's an interesting one. I know it's changing subject for you guys, but it's still sports related.
Mhm.
The Class A Division 1 Region 2 will have Ace Charter, Aquinas,
Yeah. Wow.
Blakely County, Central and Macon,
Wow.
Dublin, East Lawrence, Jefferson County, Northeast, Southwest, and Washington County. Now there will be appeals to move laterally, but and I don't know if the Aquinas will stay in that particular bracket, and maybe Jefferson County may not. But still, the fact that these guys are even put in the same regions is kind of neat.
That's insane.
Yeah.
You know what's funny, Bruce, is when I was in school, Southwest High School, I think I talked to, who was it? We talked to Joe about this the other day.
Yes.
When he and I were in high school, they were the biggest high school in the country.
Right.
And back then, you had private schools up there. I mean, they've always had private schools in Macon, but I don't think you had as many kids going to private schools back then as you do now.
No. But a lot of the private schools back then were a lot smaller.
Yeah, they were.
And you've got several of them that's gone. One right off the bat I know is gone, Gilead.
Yeah,
And there's several other that's gone under over the years. But it makes it very interesting situation.
I can't believe that. That's
Of
awesome.
course, the stink is from Class 3 down is the power ranking. That's got to go.
Yeah, I think so
Got to
too.
go.
I think so too. All right, let's take another break, Ken. Let's take another 2-minute break, and we're going to come back with some previews of Week 11. You're listening to the XL Sports Network Drive at 5, brought to you by the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville. Be back in 2 minutes. All right, welcome back to the XL Sports Network Drive at 5, brought to you by the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville. And we're coming to you live in the David Venable Studios in downtown Hawkinsville. And we're talking about we just got finished talking about the Week 10 in review. Now we're going to preview Week 11. I want to hold off on the game between the hedges. We'll talk about that later on. I'm going to make some picks here. I'm going to pick with the spread. And then I'll probably say who I think is actually going to win the game, but we'll pick against the spread. I want to start off with the Michigan at Penn State game. Michigan has been lights out on defense. They have been one of the top offenses in the nation, but they haven't played anybody. They are a 4.5-point favorite. They're going to Happy Valley, and they're playing Penn State. Over and under is 45. I picked the over in that, but I'm going to pick Penn State. I'm going to pick Penn State to at least beat the spread, and I got to think about that. Give me the rest of the next few minutes to decide whether or not they're going to actually win the game.
I think you're dreaming.
You think I'm dreaming?
Yeah.
I'd love to see a scenario where all the home teams win.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna be at the last one. I'll be at that Michigan Ohio State game. I can't wait to see that. And it may be those two are undefeated when they see each other. We'll see. Rutgers at Iowa. Doesn't know what the over and under is. I picked the under. Over and under is 28. I still picked the under on that. I mean, they only scored a total of 17 last week.
All right, we've got Eddie on the phone now. Eddie's going to talk to us about the playoff picture, and what do you think about it?
Eddie, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for calling in. Man, doing better now that you called in. We'll put. I'm gonna put my preview, my Week 11 preview on hold right now, and let's talk about the CFP playoff. Right now, there was no change in the top 5 or 6 this week. But let's go all the way to the end. Let's go post championship Saturday, and you give me your 4.
Well, my big question is, Michigan and Ohio State is breaking stuff out. One of them's going to win and one of them's going to lose. Georgia in the playoffs, you put have 2-1 little teams. Is there a way both of them can make it in?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think I'll pick the champion. If they both have one loss, I think you got to pick Alabama because Alabama lost to was probably going to be the Big 12 champion and a college football playoff contender, Texas. So I think that you would have to say they've got the strongest, one loss, resume.
Part of it, though, in Oregon, they went out. Think they make it?
Yes, I absolutely think so. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why, Eddie. I think so because I think the college football and I think the committee, I think that the fans, I think everybody are itching to have somebody from the Pac-12, if nothing else, for regional interest to get to draw the West Coast back into interest into the college football playoff. So I think Oregon wins out. They are definitely in. There's still a lot of football being played, but I think they're going to win out. I think that they will be in. I think they're going to be the 4 seed.
The 4 seed, yeah, that's what I think.
Look at Davis.
They are dangerous.
They are. I think right now with them, yeah, they got one loss against Washington, but I think that that's one of those wins, quality wins or losses.
Yeah.
They can score points on the Eagles.
Yeah, and you figure if Washington wins the rest of the regular season games, and they have a rematch in the Pac-12 championship game with Oregon, Oregon wins that game, and I think they will. Then I can see a scenario where Washington's out, they're out of the playoff, Oregon's in as a 4 seed, and I think so give me your top 4 then.
When Georgia, Alabama, Georgia should win out. I think Oregon should win the Michigan State, Ohio game, and then if Florida State wins out, I got to take Florida State.
Yeah, that's one I didn't. Yeah, you're right.
My top 4 is Ohio State. I think they go undefeated through the year. Then coming in second, UGA, Florida State at 3, and Oregon at the number 4 seed. That's what I predict anyway at this time.
I'm gonna pick my dogs and win out, and I think Michigan will also win out. So I think Georgia's gonna be the 1 seed. I think Georgia gonna be the 1 seed. Michigan gonna be the 2 seed. I think Florida State's gonna be the 3 seed, and I think Oregon will be the 4 seed. Texas is gonna be left out. Texas may be left out.
Those are my 4-2.
Yeah.
I think Michigan's going to beat Ohio State. I think this is finally the year they get over the hump. Georgia should beat Alabama, although that was going to be closer than people think. How we talk about Hawkinsville, their offense shortened up the game. Alabama's got that offense too. They're a true statement offense this year. Run the ball, throw it when you have to. That's the only thing that would scare me about Georgia, but Georgia should win that one. Michigan over Ohio State. Florida State, I think, is going to win out. And I'm telling you, dark horse for me is Oregon State. Oregon State is dangerous.
Oregon State of Oregon. The Ducks. The Ducks. Okay. Hey, I want to go back to something. Yeah, exactly. I want to go back to something that you had talked about early. I think it's actually right before the season started, the week of opening week. Everybody was talking about Alabama's quarterback situation and how it was, nobody knew what Alabama's quarterback situation was going to be. And you made a comment on the Saturday morning show that Alabama's got their quarterback. That kid's going to be a great quarterback. And I said, you're crazy. There's no way. And the first couple of games, I was like, see, I told you. But I'm going to tell you right now, I think you were spot on right there because as the season has gone on, he's been amazing. And he's not Tua. He's not, Mac Jones. He's not, Jalen Hurts. Well, he's probably more Jalen Hurts than he is any of them, but he is not, he's not the quarterback that's going to throw the ball around like Tua did. But man, he is a dadgum great ball player and probably a number 1 running back on most any team in the country.
He is. He's kind of calmed down. I think Saban stood up about game 3 and said, "Hey, this is our quarterback. This is what we're going to do. you still call plays like I want to, I'll find somebody that can. And that's when they settled in and they gradually started building a team, a offensive team. And it's worked for them. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, they got that physical offensive line, and you know, they were starting some true freshmen on their line, and
Mhm.
they just kind of calmed down and assumed that identity of run first, and you know, what roles we have to, and for 'em. So,
Yeah.
you know, they're dangerous. Like I said, Georgia to me is the best team in the United States right now as far as a college team. Oregon is just one of those dark horses, but you know, Alabama could slide in there, and I'll give Ken props. Ohio State could too. It's just
Yeah.
you have to pick four. Those are my four.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I tell you what, it's gonna be interesting. There's a lot of football. You know, I think the best of the season is the last 3 weeks this year. I think that you're going to see the best football being played going forward between now and Thanksgiving, or right after Thanksgiving.
You look at the games coming up. I think the conference championships are going to be some really good games. I mean, I want to see what Florida State does. You know, that's my one thing. I mean, I think they're a good football team, but they still have a lot of questions. They've gotten better. Quarterback play's gotten better. You just got to see what happens in the playoffs.
Well, we're a winner if they end up going to the championship game and playing Georgia. Florida State and Georgia would be a dream matchup for us and our family, seeing that we're all big Georgia fans, and then our son graduated from Florida State. So he already told me, he said, "Dad, if that happens, I got to pull for Florida State." I said, "Man, that's all right. It's fine."
Full grab and butter.
That's right.
It is what it is. But
That's right.
yeah, I mean, this time of year where football really settles in, starts becoming really good to watch. I mean, I watched Dallas and Philadelphia the other day. That game was bizarre, but it was very entertaining. You know, you had Jalen Hurts out there doing his thing. You had Dallas out there doing their thing with joking. And, you know, we've seen some good football here in high school the last 2 or 3 weeks. So
Yep.
I'm excited for them. I'm excited for Chris County. My son's over there. You know how that goes. But there's some good football left to be played this year.
It absolutely is. It is. Eddie, thanks for calling in, man. Appreciate it.
I appreciate talking to you guys. Y'all sound good. Keep it up.
Thank you, man. That's our buddy Eddie. Calling in. He's usually here on Saturday mornings on the quarterback show. Eddie does also Friday nights with us. He and Bruce are the two that most of the time bring in the Hawkinsville Red Devils. Every once in a while they'll let me get on the radio when, I guess when some gets tired of talking, they'll let me do it. But and I appreciate that. Yeah, that's a great conversation. I'm gonna go back to what we were talking about before Eddie called in. We got Rutgers at Iowa, and again the over and under is 28. Iowa's a 1-point favorite at home. I'm picking Rutgers in that game. I'm gonna pick the under. 28 seems like a lot to me. So I'm gonna pick the under. And I'm gonna pick Rutgers there in that game. Alabama at Kentucky. Now this is a game that we have talked about a lot this year coming up. And you look at earlier in the season and you think, man, that's a trap game for Alabama right there. They're 11-point favorite. Over and under is 47. Devin Leary he's a little banged up, but he's supposed to be playing, which if he wasn't playing, it's just absolutely 100% Alabama. But since he is playing, I'm going to pick Kentucky to beat the spread. 11-point spread. I think they will beat the spread. I think Alabama's going to win that game by maybe a touchdown.
Wow.
But they're playing in Kentucky. Now, I might come back next week with egg all over my face, but we'll see what happens. Miami at Florida State. Miami's a 14-point favorite. Over under 51. I'm picking the over in that game. I'm picking Florida State to win. Tennessee and Missouri. Man, that's going to be a good game. Now, Luther Burton is injured, and I'm not sure if he's going to play yet. So, I think if Luther Burton plays, they're going to, I think they'll definitely beat Tennessee. And even without him, man, and we talked about this with the review of the Georgia game. I think Brady Cook is. I think he's a legitimate quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback. They're playing at home in Como, which is a tough place to play. I mean, Georgia could tell you that last year. So Tennessee's got that on the road to Como, and they are 1.5 point favorites. So I'm going to pick Missouri to win that game, and I'm going to say Georgia's going to lock up the East before they even take the field Friday night. And over and under 57, I'm going to say under. I'm going to say under on that. I think that.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get to 57. Utah, Washington. For a second, I thought about Washington, but without Cam Rising, man, they have very little offense there. They're just, I mean, that Barnes kid had a great game against what was the USC when they beat USC, but I hadn't really seen a whole lot since then. So I'm picking Washington. They are 8.5 point favorites, and 50 is over and under. I don't think it's going to get to the over. I don't think Utah is going to have enough offense to get to the 50 point.
No, I don't think they're going to get to the over. That's for sure. Utah has a great defense, and that's what's going to keep them in the game.
Yeah, but I still think that Washington's going to they're going to cover that 8.5 point spread there. Here's an interesting one here: West Virginia on the road to Oklahoma, over and under 58. 12.5 point favorites are the Sooners. The Sooners have struggled of late, but they are back home, and I think that. Being at home this week, I think they're going to probably they're going to take out their aggressions on West Virginia. West Virginia's been a very good, very surprising team this year. I think Coach Greg Hill's the name of the coach. I think he was on the hot seat, or not Greg Hill. What's his name? Coach Brown, Neil Brown. Sorry, Neil Brown, coach out there, and he was on the hot seat coming in the season. But I think they're bowl eligible, and if they're not bowl eligible, I think they will be bowl eligible. But I don't think they're going to have enough to go beat the Sooners on the road. So I'm picking Oklahoma in that game with the 12.5. Florida at LSU. We had to go back and look to see what time this game kicked off. And I did hear that Jake Daniels was supposed to practice yesterday. And if everything went okay, he was going to be he's going to have the contact jersey on there where he could have contact. So I haven't heard anything other than that. So I'm assuming that Jake Daniels is going to play. LSU's 14-point favorites, over and under 64. I'm going to pick the over in that because I think Graham Mertz is going to kill LSU's defense. But I think LSU is going to light it up against Florida. The real over and under in this game is 1.5. And that's how many shoes are going to be thrown in this game. For you guys who don't know out there, the 2020 LSU-Florida game, Florida had the game won. 4th down, they stopped them on 4th down, LSU, and they had a playoff spot waiting for them. And the guy made a tackle for loss, and for Florida, he jerked the shoe off the LSU player, and he slung it about 20 yards down the field. Personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct, automatic first down. LSU goes down, scores, and wins the game, and then Florida was out of the playoff, and the rest is history. So that's a funny fact right there. So over and under is a 1.5 for throwing shoes. I'll pick the under. I think there will be one thrown shoe in this game.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to throw any more.
I don't think there'd be two. There would be one. There won't two. Here we go. Duke at NC. So this game is kind of interesting. If Duke had Riley Leonard, I think that Duke could have a shot at this game, but they are just absolutely terrible without Riley Leonard. And Riley Leonard, Will said he was his dark horse for the Heisman, and he was playing great up until the point he got hurt.
Yeah, he was really he was leading the team. That's what he was doing. Yeah, he may not have been a great quarterback, but he led the team,
right?
And they all pulled together.
Right. And him being out, they just, oh my goodness, terrible. 51 over and under, 14.5 is a point spread. I think that NC North Carolina will win the game. They'll cover that. And as far as 51 goes, I think they can go under on that. I don't think that Duke is going to have enough offense to get to 51 points. USC, here we go. USC and Oregon, kind of teased on this a little bit earlier. Here's some facts here. Well, first of all, anytime you talk about USC, you're going to have to pick the over. 75.5 is the over. There may be, I think if 105 was the over, I'd pick it.
Last week, the over-under was, I believe, 76, and they blew it out.
They blew it away. Yeah. So 75 is over and under. I'm picking the over on that. 50.5 point favorites are the Ducks. Right now, look here. Oregon is number 1 in the nation in points per game. USC is number 2 in the nation in points per game. But here's the kicker. Oregon is number 11 in the nation in points allowed per game. Want to guess what USC is, points allowed per game?
Somewhere around 124.
Did you look at it?
No.
You did.
No.
They were 124. How did you guess that?
I didn't guess. I heard.
Well, okay, you heard it.
What did it say? He's cheating.
124. And so I think the Bo Nix is going to light it up. And then we get to the game we're all interested in. Our University of Georgia Bulldogs taking on the Ole Miss Rebels. Georgia is 11-point favorite, and the over and under is 58. I don't know about the man. That's a good over and under right there, 58. You know,
It's going to be tough.
that's going to be
That's a tough
yeah.
one to choose.
I'm going to stay over on the over and under. I think Ole Miss is going to score some points, but I think Georgia's too. Ole Miss got their defensive backs. I think that Carson Beck's going to lock those guys up a little bit. 11-point favorites are the Dogs. I think the Dogs are going to cover the 11. Now, I will say this: Georgia has not covered the spread very good in the last couple of years on any game, especially these big games. But I think they will cover this 11 points. I don't care if it's 1 point, to be completely honest with you. But 11 points is a point spread. I think Georgia covers some points, and then we'll go over. So I picked Georgia to do that, and I think Georgia will once they beat Ole Miss. I think they're gonna jump to number 1 in the college football playoff rankings. Couple other games here. I'm gonna turn this over to Bruce in just a second. Auburn's at Arkansas. Auburn could get bowl eligible with the win. If they do, Arkansas could get a new head coach. I think that Sam Pittman's in the twilight of his career there at Arkansas. I hate that for him, but I just don't think they're. I think they're going to go a different direction. I think he got that program up. You know, they were an absolute embarrassment when he got there. They were a laughing stock of the SEC, and he brought them up to be ranked number 8 in the nation a couple years ago.
You're number 5.
Was it 5? I know that they were
5 when they came into Georgia.
I thought they were 8 that year. May have been 5, whatever it was. It was a great. Hey, that was a great game. We're great for Georgia anyway. So I think that Auburn's going to be bowl eligible this weekend. I think they'll win that game. And then the last one we'll talk about, Mississippi State and Texas A&M. Texas A&M will be bowl eligible this week after they beat Mississippi State. They're playing at home. They're not playing on the road. They're playing on the road. I'll pick whoever else they're playing. Maybe even Hawkinsville if they were playing Hawkinsville. Max Johnson is injured for Texas A&M, the quarterback, but he's going to be playing. Will Rogers, not sure if he's going to play. Will Rogers is one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC history. And he will, not sure if he's going to be playing yet or not. So that is the preview of Week 11. Virginia's going to play in Louisville. Louisville's a team that man, they're controlling their own destiny as well. They're number 11 in the nation right now. They're 8-1. I think they will beat Virginia. 20.5-point favorites are the Cardinals. I think they'll cover that. 50 is over and under. I'm not sure if they'll cover if the 50 will be the over on that. Let's see. Georgia Tech at Clemson. You got 2 5-4 teams. You throw that way, Bruce. You got 2 5-4 teams. And Clemson at home against Tech. I think Clemson will win that game. 14.5 points is the point spread. I don't think they're going to cover the spread. I think Georgia Tech will actually beat the spread, but I think Clemson's going to win that football game. Over and under is 55.5. I'm going to say that I'm going to go with the over on that. Let's see. Here's another one. Nebraska is hosting Maryland, both 5-4. Maryland's a 1.5 favorite. I think Nebraska's going to win the game. Let's see. My wife just texted me and said that you can say I love my wife. I do love my wife. She's amazing. Bruce, we got somebody here in the. All right, we're back with you on the XL Sports Network Drive at 5. Got a very special guest in the studio today. Some of you Red Devil fans out there may recognize his name, Nevin Chenette. Nevin is here to talk to us a little bit about Deal Market. Nevin, man, glad you came in.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me, man.
It's
really good to be here, man. I love
Yeah.
Hawkinsville. It's
Okay.
definitely nice to be here, my hometown.
Man, great community. I love it too.
It is. A lot of folks know me from out there because, we did the back-to-back state championship years. Everybody knows Jeremy. Everybody knows
Yep.
Todd. Everybody knows all of those guys.
Yep.
But I gave every single snap that Todd took. So if you know Todd,
That's right.
you're So,
So hey, you can't. Hey, you got to start it with somebody,
right,
and you're the man to start it.
exactly.
And you know, and it's probably why what's why Bruce likes hanging out with you. He was one of those offensive linemen too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I played defense. I was a defensive guy, but I tell you what, I always had respect for those offensive linemen. I always knew that the offensive linemen were the smartest guys on the field.
Like I'm right.
They are.
Yeah.
No joke.
It definitely is different being on offense and defense. I definitely used to go both ways at one point, but yeah, eventually we started specializing. Anybody who remembers those days,
Yeah.
it got to a point where Coach Campbell just used to like beating the snot out of people for no reason. So it was like, you're not coming out the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna put second string in right before the game is over.
Yeah.
We just need to embarrass some people. So it was fun. It was fun.
So go ahead and talk about your deal market. I want to hear a little bit about this.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I've been in town quite a while. Everybody knows me. But one of my friends actually accidentally threw me an idea, and when he did, it stuck. He's from out of town, and he asked me. He said, "Hey, man, yeah, if you wanna, get you a Nike hoodie, or, if you wanna buy a bag for your girlfriend, something like that, where would you go?" And I was like, "Well, there's some boutique places downtown." And he was like, "Nah, if you just want to buy like a Nike hoodie, where would you get it?" And then the light bulb came on, and I was like, "Oh, that's right, you wouldn't, because you can't." And I love Hawkinsville. It's actually it's kind of sad that it's kind of gotten to the point where it is where it's growing, and a lot of people got faith in the city, but there's a lot that we don't have,
Right.
and a lot of people complain about what we don't have.
Yeah.
But there's an easy solution to that.
Right.
You could just go do
That's right.
it. It's really
yeah,
that simple.
it's a place to do it.
Exactly. And I realized like, hey, a lot of this stuff is, could be really expensive, and everybody knows, and I'm sure everybody on the radio knows, everybody money does not go as far as it used to.
Oh no.
If
no
you
joke.
pretend that you can spend the same amount now that you could 3 years ago, I'm really curious as to what reality you've been living.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So based on that, I was just like, hey, how do I bring high quality products, still get brand new stuff, and get the stuff that people really, really want that the average American would just know about,
Yeah.
without having a special preference or anything. And I found a way, we set the business model, and I just did it.
Yeah.
I just did it. I saw a property downtown, decided to rock and roll, got the inventory in, and we've been rocking and rolling ever since. And it's definitely a manner in which it's the cheapest new clothes you will ever purchase in your life. I don't know where else you're gonna get a Nike hoodie for $10.
Well, I'm looking at your card here. You got Nike, Adidas, and I gotta say this because my wife was listening, and she has to get it home. As to get it home, she's gonna want me to go on this website. Vera Bradley. So I know she loves Vera Bradley. True Religion, Carhartt, man, whoo, Wolverine,
Yep.
Ralph Lauren,
Uh-huh.
Michael Kors,
Mm-hmm.
Champion, London Fog,
Preach.
Tommy Hilfiger,
Uh-huh.
Arthur Stewart.
Yes, sir.
So you got, that is top of the line products right there. As
Yep.
far as the name brand products,
Yep.
that's the best. In fact, Carhartt, you can't even wear Carhartt out. You can't wear those out. You can wear those things for years.
Only hardworking Americans know what Carhartt is.
That's right.
I'm gonna just,
I grew up on a farm. I know what they are.
yeah. So that being said, yeah, we got the stuff. And the big hook is the vast majority of our items are $5.
Oh wow!
Believe it or not,
Wow.
brand new, tag still on it. The vast majority is $5.
Chris,
Tell
tell
us a little more. But
Tell listeners how they can get a hold of you.
So the best way to find out when we're opening anything, we got permanent hours now. So every Saturday and Sunday from 12 to 4, no questions asked. Every single weekend, unless it's a specific holiday, we're open.
Okay.
12 to 4 Saturday and Sunday. If you want to know what we got going on, go to the Facebook page.
Okay.
That is the lifeblood of the whole business. We got business cards. I just dropped some off at Lock Bunny this afternoon.
Okay.
Business cards at quite a few places around town. But yeah, the Facebook page it's the heartbeat. You can go on there. You can see who's shopping, what they're buying, how happy people are.
Okay.
And it just works. And I'm really happy to have had the ability to do it in my city, as opposed to, to just be blunt, I could have done it anywhere.
Right.
I could have done it somewhere in Rockford. Could have
Right.
done it in downtown Macon.
Uh-huh.
Could have done it somewhere in Atlanta. It's not a big deal.
Something about this little town over here.
I did it in Hawkinsville because it's a need here.
Yeah.
I had a lady come in the other day, and she literally said, she walked up to me and she shook my hand, and I said, thanks. And she said, no, thank you. And I said, okay, for what? And she said, do you understand how much community service you're doing?
That's all.
And it wasn't until that moment that it really dawned on me that this is something that can actually help people.
Right.
Because now you can technically buy clothes for less than you can buy groceries.
Right. Right. That's
And
awesome.
everybody
Yeah.
knows how
That's
bad
awesome.
groceries are.
That's awesome. Excuse me. They are located at 7 South Jackson Street, Hawkinsville, and they're open on Saturday and Sundays from 12 to 4,
Mhm.
4 hours.
Right across from Planners, not way and way, directly across
Right.
across the side. So the old drive-through that I don't think they're really using anymore.
No.
But if you look through that drive-through, if you could look underneath those arches through the drive-through, you're looking dead at the front
Right
door.
Right out.
It's right on that side, on the side.
Man, Nevin, so glad you came in here, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's definitely a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for having me.
And hey, thank you for taking care of the community because really, this is a community service. It really is.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
They told me the other day, but I definitely see it now.
Yeah.
Look on our sites.
Okay. What? Hold on. Good. You got? Is there anything else that you want to add on to?
No, man. I'm just glad that everybody is supporting it so much. They're doing a really bang up job. People have definitely swarmed to it more than I thought. And yeah, man, it's just I have so many people come say, hey, we don't know when you're open. Hey, and so hey, 12 to 4 every Saturday and Sunday we're open. Hey, and people say, hey, you guys got used stuff, and it's like, no, you can buy brand new stuff from us cheaper than you can buy it from Goodwill. I don't think people really understand the gravity of that. So yeah, man. If I could leave anybody with anything, it's literally come tell people and brag about the deal you got. Don't go around and complain to people about the deal you missed. Come get it. Our tagline is "Come rack up." You should.
That's great. That's great. And we have put the link of your
Not yet.
deal
We will
party
be.
on. It's actually coming up. We're going to put that on. We're going to put a link on that on the xlsportsnetwork.net website. So everyone out there who's listening, go to the xlsportsnetwork.net website, and you should have that in the next day or two. It's called Deal Market. Click on that. You can look at it online, but come down and visit them at in Hawkinsville, and it's going to be on Jackson Street, South Jackson Street, 7 South Jackson Street in Hawkinsville, Saturdays and Sundays from 12 to 4. Ask for Nevin or anybody there, and they will take care of you. Nevin, man, it's great to have you here.
Thank you, man. Thank you
And
so much.
yeah, man,
And I really appreciate Hawkinsville, by the way. If
Yeah.
anybody's listening, we appreciate Hawkinsville. The response has been phenomenal. We appreciate it.
that's a great town. All right, and that's going to do it for us for today for the XL Sports Network Drive at 5, brought to you by the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville. For Bruce, who came in with my special guest, we'll see you, Bruce, tomorrow. Thanks to Eddie for calling in. Hope my boy Will gets better. Chaz, I missed you today. For Ken on the boards and Nevin, special guest, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Been great. We'll see you guys next Thursday. Y'all have a good night.